Most riders love their bikes. They polish them, brag about them, even treat them like family. But here's the ugly truth. A lot of riders are slowly killing their motorcycles without even realizing it. And I'm not talking about the obvious stuff like skipping oil changes or riding like a maniac. I mean the hidden habits, the ones that feel harmless in the moment but quietly wear your bike down from the inside out. Things that drain your wallet, wreck your performance, and in some cases, can leave you stranded on the side of the road wondering what went wrong. So today, I'm breaking down the 10 worst things riders do that are slowly destroying their motorcycles. Some of these might surprise you, and if you're guilty of even one, don't worry, I'll show you how to fix it before it costs you big. Mistake number 1. Ignoring tire pressure and condition. If you only check your tire pressure when the light comes on in your car, that habit will kill your motorcycle faster than almost anything else. Your tires are the only thing between you and the pavement. 2 patches the size of a credit card are all that keep you upright. Mess those up, and everything else, brakes, suspension, cornering, doesn't matter. Underinflated tires flex too much, overheat, and wear unevenly. Overinflated tires lose grip and make your ride feel like a pogo stick. And bald tires? That's gambling with your skin. I've seen riders swear their bike just doesn't handle right, and the fix was 30 seconds with a gauge. Don't fool yourself into thinking you can eyeball pressure either. If you claim you can tell 32 psi from 25 just by looking, congrats, you're a human air compressor. The rest of us? We need a proper gauge. Here's the kicker. Healthy tires don't just keep you safe, they make your bike feel better. Sharper cornering, shorter stops, smoother rides, all from something that costs almost nothing to check. So grab a decent gauge, check your tires cold, and actually look at your tread before you ride. Skip this step, and you're not just killing your motorcycle, you're betting your life on dumb luck. Before we dive into the list, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more riders and keeps videos like this rolling. And while you're at it, drop a comment below and let me know what's the worst habit you've seen another rider do to their bike. I'm curious to see which ones make the top of your list. Mistake number 2. Cheap or neglected oil changes. Oil is the lifeblood of your motorcycle. It cools, lubricates, and keeps the engine alive. But too many riders either cheap out on oil or stretch their change intervals way past what the manual recommends. Both are silent killers. Here's the thing. Motorcycles work their oil harder than cars. Higher revs, hotter temps, tighter tolerances. That bargain bin oil you scored on sale, it breaks down fast, leaving sludge and metal particles floating around like sandpaper inside your engine. And skipping changes? That's even worse. Old oil loses viscosity, traps moisture, and eventually cooks into varnish. Once it builds up, no amount of fresh oil will undo the damage. Your shifting gets clunky, your bike runs hotter, and little by little, you're shaving years off its life. I've seen riders complain about noisy engines or rough gear changes, only to admit they hadn't changed their oil in over a year. That's not saving money. That's signing up for a rebuild. The fix couldn't be easier. Use quality motorcycle-specific oil, swap it at a recommended interval, and always replace the filter. A few bucks now saves thousands later, because when it comes to oil, the rule is simple. Neglect it, and your bike will neglect you when you need it most. Mistake number 3. Neglecting battery health. Nothing kills the mood faster than gearing up for a ride, hitting the starter, and hearing nothing. A dead battery isn't just inconvenient, it's one of the most common ways riders slowly kill their bikes without realizing it. Motorcycle batteries hate being ignored. Letting your bike sit for weeks without a tender drains it little by little. Do that enough, and sulfation builds up on the plates, cutting its lifespan in half. Add in corroded terminals or loose connections, and you're stressing not just the battery, but the entire charging system. I've seen alternators burn out early because they were constantly trying to make up for a weak battery. Another bad habit? Cheap replacements. That bargain no-name battery might save you $50 today, but when it leaves you stranded tomorrow, you'll wish you'd spent the extra on the quality unit. The fix is simple. Keep a smart trickle charger on it if the bike sits for more than a week. Clean and tighten the terminals, and check the voltage every so often. A healthy battery should rest above 12.6 volts. Drop much lower than that, and you're on borrowed time. Take care of your battery, and it'll take care of you. Neglect it, and your ride day becomes call for a jumpstart day. Mistake number 4. Using the wrong chain lube or skipping it altogether. Your chain is one of the hardest working parts on your bike, and yet it's also one of the most abused. Too many riders either slather it with the wrong stuff or skip lube altogether, both of which will chew through your drivetrain faster than you think. Here's the problem. Not all lubes are created equal. WD-40? Great for cleaning, terrible as a long-term lubricant. Thick, sticky car grease? All it does is collect dirt and grit, basically turning your chain into a rolling sandpaper belt. And if you're riding with no lube at all, every link is grinding metal on metal. That's a death sentence for your sprockets. The signs show up slowly at first. Extra noise, rougher shifts, uneven slack. But ignore it long enough and you'll see hooked sprocket teeth, stiff chain links, or worse, a snapped chain at speed. Trust me, you don't want that whipping around your leg. The solution is simple. Use a motorcycle-specific chain lube, applied sparingly but regularly. Clean the chain with a proper brush or mild degreaser. Then lube it every few hundred miles. More often if you're riding in rain or dirt. It's cheap, it's quick, and it transforms the life of your drivetrain. Skip it, and your bike will let you know, loudly and expensively. Mistake number 5. Skipping suspension maintenance. When riders think about maintenance, they usually picture oil changes, brake pads, or maybe a chain adjustment. Suspension? It's almost always forgotten. And that neglect slowly kills both your comfort and your bike's performance. Here's the thing. Your forks and shock aren't set-it-and-forget-it parts. Fork oil breaks down just like engine oil, seals wear out, and springs sag over time. Ignore it for long enough, and your plush-controlled ride turns into a wallowing mess. You'll notice it on sloppy cornering, excessive dive under braking, and a rear end that feels like it's on a pogo stick. And it's not just about handling. Worn suspension puts stress on your frame, bearings, and even tires. Uneven damping can make your contact patch unstable, chewing through rubber way faster than normal. I've seen riders blow through expensive tires in a season simply because their forks hadn't been serviced in years. The fix? Treat suspension like the critical system it is. Change fork oil every 15 to 20,000 miles, or sooner if you ride hard. Check for leaks, and don't ignore seals that start weeping. Adjust sag and preload to fit your weight, not some random factory default. Your bike will steer sharper, stop shorter, and last longer. Ignore your suspension, and you're not just killing your motorcycle, you're killing the fun out of every ride. If you're getting value out of this so far, hit that like button. It helps the channel reach more riders. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this list. While you're at it, let me know in the comments which bad habit you've been guilty of. Don't worry, we've all made a few, and I'll be reading through your stories. Mistake number 6. Using the wrong type of coolant. Coolant might not be the sexiest part of bike maintenance, but using the wrong type can quietly destroy your engine from the inside out. Not all coolants are created equal. Car stuff, tap water, or random green goop from the garage shelf? That's how you end up with corroded passages, clogged radiators, and mystery overheating issues. Motorcycle engines run hotter and tighter than cars, and they need coolant formulated for aluminum and magnesium components. Mixing types is just as bad. Some coolants chemically react with each other, forming sludge that gums up your system. And topping off with tap water? Congratulations! You just dumped minerals into your cooling system that will eventually scale up like a rusty kettle. The damage doesn't happen overnight. At first, you'll notice the fan running constantly. Then the bike starts pushing coolant at stoplights. and before long, you're shopping for a new head gasket. The fix: use the coolant your manual specifies, flush it every couple of years, and never cut corners. It's cheap insurance against expensive failures. Ignore it, and your bike's liquid cool system becomes problem cooled real fast. Mistake number 7. Letting old brake fluid sit. Brake fluid isn't wine. It doesn't get better with age. In fact, the longer it sits in your system, the more dangerous it becomes. Here's why. Brake fluid is hygroscopic, which means it absorbs moisture right out of the air. Even in a sealed system, water sneaks in over time. The more moisture it collects, the lower the boiling point gets. And when the fluid boils under hard braking, your lever suddenly feels like you're squeezing a wet sponge. Not a good feeling when you actually need to stop. It doesn't end there. Old fluid corrodes calipers, eats away at master cylinder seals, and wreaks havoc on ABS pumps. And you won't see the damage until it's too late, when your braking system turns into a repair bill. I've watched riders shrug off spongy levers as just old pads, only to discover the real culprit was 3-year-old brake fluid that looked more like coffee than anything hydraulic. The scary part? Many of them had no idea it needed to be changed regularly. The fix is easy. Bleed your brakes every 1 or 2 years, no excuses. Fresh fluid keeps your brakes sharp, predictable, and safe. Skip it, and you're betting your life on the hope that your system holds together. Spoiler, it won't. Mistake number 8. Running low on fuel. Most riders think the only risk of running low on fuel is running out. But riding on fumes quietly destroys your bike in ways you don't see until it's too late. Your fuel pump isn't just a pump. It's cooled and lubricated by the very gas it sits in. Keep the tank low, and the pump runs hotter, wears faster, and is more likely to fail. Replacing one isn't cheap, and on modern bikes, it's a serious pain. That's not the only problem. The bottom of your tank is where all the junk lives. Sediment, rust flakes, moisture from ethanol. Run low and your pump starts sucking that sludge straight into your filters and injectors. Over time you'll get clogged lines, poor performance, and mysterious issues that always seem to show up right before a big ride. I've seen riders complain their bike just doesn't pull right anymore, and when you dig into it, the culprit was years of riding on empty. The fix? Simple. Treat the last quarter tank as your reserve. Top it off regularly, especially if the bike sits often. A few extra trips to the gas station now is way cheaper than a new pump and injectors later. Quick question for you. Out of everything we've covered so far, which mistake are you guilty of? Be honest and drop it in the comments. No judgment here. We've all done at least one of these at some point. I'll be checking the replies to see which bad habit shows up the most. Mistake number 9. Power washing the wrong way. There's nothing like seeing your bike gleaming in the sun after a good wash. But if your weapon of choice is a pressure washer, you might be blasting your motorcycle to death without realizing it. High-pressure water is great for blasting mud off a dirt bike, but on a street bike, it's a silent killer. Bearings, switches, seals, and connectors were never designed to take 2,000 psi. That jet forces water into places it should never go, washing out grease, corroding metal, and shorting electronics. I've seen perfectly good bikes ruined in one afternoon because someone treated them like a driveway sidewalk. Afterwards, they wonder why their dash flickers, why the idle's rough, and why the headlight only works when it feels like it. Spoiler, it's your cleaning job. Even if things don't fail immediately, water inside wheel bearings or pivot points displaces grease and leads to premature wear. Add heat and time, and your shiny clean bike turns into a rusty headache. The fix? Skip the jet gun. Use a gentle hose, a bucket of soapy water, and a microfiber towel. Degrease carefully. Avoid blasting directly into sensitive areas, and dry it properly. Clean is good. Destroyed electronics and seized bearings? Not so much. Mistake number 10. Over-tightening bolts. Every rider with a wrench thinks tighter is better. But cranking every bolt until your veins pop is one of the fastest ways to wreck your motorcycle. Axle pinch bolts, drain plugs, triple clamps, they're all designed with specific torque values. Go beyond that and you're not making things secure, you're stripping threads, warping parts, or setting up a stress fracture that'll bite you later. I've seen riders snap a drain bolt clean off in the crankcase and turn a 10-minute oil change into a $500 repair. The worst part? Over-tightening doesn't always fail right away. Sometimes it's months later when the part is under load. Suddenly, that caliper bolt you torqued with caveman strength lets go mid-ride, and now you're in for a terrifying surprise. And don't think washers and gaskets are immune. Crush them too hard and you'll get leaks that no amount of tightening will ever fix. It's like trying to fix a cut rope by pulling harder. The fix is simple. Get a torque wrench and actually use it. Every manufacturer publishes torque specs for a reason. Snug is good. Hulk smash is not. Treat your bike like precision machinery, not a gym workout, and it'll reward you every time.